You could see it driving up the highway, down the entire highway to the last exit here in the U.S. I spoke with a truck driver when I got here. He said that from that exit to the first check-in, it was about a 30-minute wait. From that check-in to this entry here, he thinks it's going to be about at least 40 minutes. The strike started at 6 a.m. this morning, and it's all about contract negotiations. Well, I definitely would say the schools are feeling better than when I last spoke to them, having this guidance from the state education department. They say they're still working to finalize their plans, but it's likely going to look similar to last year. I've seen license plates from all over the country: North Carolina, Wisconsin, New York, Virginia, California. People traveling hours, and they say it's all to see loved ones on the other side. Weather is absolutely beautiful. The rides are in full swing, and that fair food, let me tell you, it is so good. Had some lemonade and some French fries earlier because, you know, there's no calories when you're at the fair, right? Don't you guys just love the beach? I sure do. It's probably my favorite part about summer, even if it's not beach weather, which is probably right now. The rain's starting to light up a little bit. Definitely was windy by the water today, but it didn't stop people from coming out and having a great time. The city of Plattsburgh wants you to do more of this. Riding your bicycle around town. Tucked away in the town of Lewis is a Cold War secret. A 1961 missile silo is still intact, and we got an inside look. The bounce is back, and kids have been jumping for joy now that it's back open. You know, people have told me that this has been a long time coming. They also said they're still on the fence about it. The medical marijuana dispensary here is already gearing up for both medicinal and recreational use, though lawmakers and law enforcement are not on board with this change. Visitation started at 2 this afternoon, and there was a line of people waiting to get inside. The hospital says that loved ones play a key role in patients' quality care and well-being, and they were happy to open the doors once again. And a reminder to residents of the city of Plattsburgh: you only have 24 hours after the snow event is deemed over to shovel your sidewalk. Otherwise, you could be subject to a fine. What does youth sports look like in the era of COVID-19? Well, it looks similar to this. Yeah, masks are not required when playing or practicing by the players. That is the player's discretion. But when a player is on the sidelines, or any coaches of the youth sports, they need to wear masks. Spent months putting in public records requests trying to learn more on why the chief was on leave, if he was being paid for with tax dollars while he was out of the office, and what the future of the department would look like. Today, Mayor Chris Rosenquist was able to answer some of those questions, and he explained more on what the search would look like for Plattsburgh's next chief.
When I came to office in January, it was pretty much already decided what was going to happen for that position.
Until now, Mayor Chris Rosenquist has refused to discuss the status of Chief Ritter and his unexplained absence from the police department. Now, Rosenquist says since he took office, he's only been focused on a path forward for the department because the decision had already been made that Ritter had to go.
It wasn't necessarily the attitude of the administration, not necessarily my personal attitude, but a number of the other elected officials that brought us to this decision.
The mayor says he doesn't believe there was a settlement or severance and wasn't clear on why the chief left or why he was placed on leave in the first place.
Because that happened before I joined on, I don't understand the details of why he went on personal leave, and even why, not all of the reasons. I know some of the reasons, but not all of the reasons why he was placed on administrative leave.
I asked if the pending lawsuit against Ritter and the city played any role in the resignation or decision to look at new leadership.
I don't really know, and honestly, even if I did, I probably wouldn't comment on that because it's pending.
Rosenquist says Ritter actually submitted his resignation in February to take effect at the end of April. The chief continued to draw his regular salary of more than $90,000 a year for the entire 5 months he was on leave. Mayor Rosenquist says he and the chief had a number of talks over that period, which he says were mostly positive.
We wanted to work pretty closely to make sure that things worked out for him and for the city.
Now the city is opening up its search for a new top cop. While the job is being advertised statewide, Rosenquist hopes to promote from within.
So they've got to be very community driven, very outward, focused on creating those relationships with different organizations and different agencies and members of the community.
Cars traveling up and down Blake Road Wednesday.
I mean, and everybody must be hearing about it because we've had traffic continuously up and down the road.
after Craig Foster and Nicole K.A. arrested Wednesday morning, charged with murder and grand larceny.
We don't need that stuff around here. I mean, there's too many little kids down at down to the end of the road. We don't want this.
The neighborhood is in shock.
Never.
Never heard of anything like this. This road has always been quiet. People, watch out for people around here. Who would ever know that your neighbor's a murderer?
New York State Police say they came to the house Tuesday to follow up on a missing person complaint. The DEA and Bureau of Indian Affairs are also involved. Investigators spent part of Wednesday afternoon canvassing the woods behind the home and taking photos inside and out. Police say they found a woman dead at the home. We don't know when, but police say K.A. and Foster stole the dead woman's car. We don't know her identity or anything about her.
Always a lot of traffic in and out over there.
I was taking down license plates. This started about February.
Neighbors say this is the only house on the road that is regularly rented out and that K.A. and Foster have been there for 2 years.
The day before last, I got a knock on my door because we have cameras.
Longtime neighbor Darlene Barnell says the Sheriff's Department and State Police knocked on her door Monday after 1 a.m. saying there was a home invasion and asked to see her security camera footage.
They came in, looked at my cameras, and took the chips out of my camera, so whatever they saw, they must have saw something that could help them out, which is a good thing.
Neighbors say police have been on and off the scene since Tuesday morning. They say Tuesday afternoon, after police left, a U-Haul arrived with 2 men and 1 woman.
The people that live over there start packing the U-Haul like they were trying to hurry up and get out of there.
Police say Foster and K.A. were arrested early the next morning.
The Canadian government continues to lack urgency, as this situation requires.
16 months of boats dry docked, bearing their pride to home.
Look at that row of boats. Look what's on those boats. Look where they're from. Look where they're sitting. That tells the story.
The border remains closed, and U.S. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says there are 2 options going forward. Change what are considered essential reasons to cross.
To include vaccinated Canadian citizens with family, property, educational, medical, tourist, or business interest.
Or if Canada won't work with the U.S. on reopening bilaterally. He calls to move ahead without Canada and open the border unilaterally.
I'm ecstatic.
Local marina owners are hopeful following Senator Schumer's announcement and roundtable discussion.
Good. Well, we'll get to work.
It's been devastating for us. Right now, we have 5% of our customers.
Sherry Para owns Monty's Bay Marina in West Shazy. She says of her 196 slips and moorings, only 7 are full. Her marinas and others are seeing Canadians skipping the border and flying into Plattsburgh. The airport says 4 to 6 charter flights land there a day.
Almost 1,000 to flew, 20 minutes flight, and almost 1,000 to bring the car and the trailer.
This Canadian couple bought their 40-foot sailboat Mia at the end of summer 2019, only getting to use it once in the last 2 years. They're both fully vaccinated and know that health comes first, but they say the cost was worth it to come for the summer.
We know the procedure about our government, but was kind of tiring of listening news and everything and postponing.
Back to the senator. He says it's not too much to ask for fully vaccinated travelers to cross between the 2 countries, and the time is now to make the needed changes.
If you're vaccinated, of course you should be able to come.
Do you want it taper or square?
The Plaza Barbershop has sat in its Plattsburgh Plaza home for decades.
And we have people that come in here. Oh, I didn't know you were ever here. It's like, well, we've been here for about 80 years.
The clients become family with each snip.
I mean, you watch kids grow up.
In its 80 years, the walls have heard many things. Like Roger saying the secret to marriage is in the perfect cut.
My wife likes it.
Good answer.
It's made strangers from afar feel like they're at home.
I hate hair on my ears. This lady's very nice. Got me right in.
But the one thing this shop has never heard is no cuts on Sunday.
Did not know it was a law.
Governor Andrew Cuomo signed a law on Tuesday repealing the law that prohibits barbering on a Sunday. The law, loosely enforced and once a misdemeanor offense in the state.
If it was a law, clearly no one obeyed it.
The Plaza Barber Shop, like many in the area, once offered a cut on a Sunday.
It was absolutely packed, solid.
Saying the hours fit many families' needs.
You know, Saturdays is really, a lot of kids have soccer and they have baseball and hockey and all that. So it was a great day for like family to like go to church and then we'll come get our haircut.
For out-of-towners, a closed barber shop on Sunday isn't out of the ordinary.
No barbers I ever found were open on Sunday.
But the law has taken shops by surprise.
I've never heard.
And while this new law isn't opening this shop back up to 7 days a week, it's giving the shop something to buzz about.
People want to work on Sunday, they should be allowed to.
Amanda Bulris-Allen with the National Alliance on Mental Illness Champlain Valley
No answer.
is going door to door
So we're just asking folks if they're interested in the COVID-19 vaccination.
in several neighborhoods,
How's it going?
making sure those who live there are aware of the vaccination clinic happening next door.
I think at this point in time, folks who are hesitant about the vaccine are really looking for that face-to-face interaction.
NAMI has teamed up with the Clinton County Health Department for its mobile clinics, making sure everyone in the county has access to the vaccine if they want it. The location of the clinics are based on a map that shows pockets in the county with lower vaccination rates.
So we can look at that map and travel out to different locations that we see might need a clinic or a pop-up like this in their area.
This clinic Wednesday was set up at Northern Cakes Redemption, a walkable location with a steady stream of customers.
It's maybe not something that was in the plans for the day, but you haven't been vaccinated yet and you have a couple minutes, you happen to see us, you can stop in. It'll take less than 20 minutes.
People like Reginald Defoe, who wanted a vaccine but had no transportation to get one. NAMI picked him up from his home and drove him to the clinic.
You've got people can bring you. It helps.
He says he wanted to get the shot to protect his loved ones who are vulnerable to the virus.
And that's the most important thing with this shop, is to save people's lives.
The clinic looks different than it has in the past. Once set up to vaccinate hundreds of people in a day, now operates on a much smaller scale.
We would love to see those numbers, but now we're looking at smaller clinics as we travel out, so we're going to more locations.
Bulris-Allen says changing one no to a yes when it comes to the vaccine makes their efforts worth it.
I think one person makes a difference.
As soon as you walk into North Country CrossFit, you can hear the work that's being put in.
Yes, excellent.
CrossFit is all about body and mind, pushing yourself to the limit.
We got 10 minutes to go.
It's going to push you just as much mentally as it would be physically.
Something retired Army Captain Bergen Flanagan knows all too well.
Deployed to Afghanistan 2009, 2010. And our job was to help them create police stations, learn the different tactics of patrolling their communities and implementing different regulations and rules.
After 7 months there, her life changed forever.
And then just the world exploded. Your ears just ring and you kind of don't feel anything. It ended up being an IED planted under a motorcycle.
The injury she suffered in the accident landed her a Purple Heart.
About 18 months out, I finally was like done surgeries and could focus on actually getting used to a prosthetic and getting out there again.
But 11 years after returning to home soil, she still fights each day. The socket for her prosthetic is not as strong as she is.
The socket is like putting on a shoe that's 2 sizes too big or 2 sizes too small. It fits okay, but it's not perfect.
There is a surgery that could help make day-to-day life more comfortable. Doctors dig a hole into the remaining femur and put a steel rod into it, letting the two fuse together.
So essentially, instead of using your socket, which basically you use your hip motion, I will be using my skeletal bone again to walk.
Bergen is eligible for the surgery, but it comes at a cost that insurance won't fully cover.
At the end of the day, I bet you I'm going to be anywhere from $50,000 to $60,000. I want to be able to do things again. I still do them now, but I push through them and then I suffer for them.
I don't think it's something our veterans should have to go through.
Marie Blatchley knows Bergen through their children.
We got talking and I got to know about her story. I always felt helpless.
North Country CrossFit honors veterans with what are called hero WODs, or workouts of the day.
Hero workouts are very challenging, they're very demanding, and they're longer.
And Blatchley, a regular at the CrossFit gym, brought Bergen's story to them.
Thought to myself, well, we have one of our local heroes who needs our help.
This Saturday, the group will test their limits, honoring Bergen and helping her pick up the tab for her surgery.
I don't know if you realize how much this is appreciated, because it means a lot.
So far, $1,400 has been raised, and that number is expected to rise. The community says they're just trying to give back to someone that's already given so much.
She doesn't have to thank us for it. It's us thanking her for her service and her sacrifice.